The story opens at night in a quiet children's park. A woman, injured and clearly distressed, stands on a swing, gently swaying back and forth. She's holding something in her hand, staring at it and crying. After a moment, she uses the swing's chain to harm herself, bringing her story to an end. The scene then reveals a strange device nearby. Now the story moves to 37-year-old Ella. She's a successful interior designer with a strong sense of color and style, and people really admire her work. She's married to Aiden, who is a doctor. They love each other deeply and both come from Jewish families. Ella has no children, and this was her own decision. She never regretted it, but she knows her age is moving forward. Early in the film, we see her at a baby shower where all her friends talk non-stop about babies and pregnancy. The movie uses several symbolic elements: clocks, eggs, and the infinity sign. Right at the start, Ella eats an egg dish, and it seems she doesn't like eggs. The women there begin asking her about having children. When Ella honestly says she doesn't want kids, they react strangely. One even asks, "Without kids, what do you even do with your days?" This leads us into Ella's real life, showing that she is happy and enjoys everything that brings her peace and fulfillment. Ella, 37, visits Dr. Weber for her yearly checkup because her mother had developed breast cancer at the same age. The doctor says her health looks fine, then asks about her plans for having a child. Ella admits she has never felt the desire for motherhood and has been waiting for that feeling her whole life, but it never came. Dr. Weber tells her that every woman has a biological clock. Maybe Ella's isn't active. This comment deeply affects her. After the appointment, Ella stops at a store and sees a magazine featuring her photo and her interior design work. She feels proud, but when she checks social media, she only finds her friends' posts about pregnancy and parenting. The constant pressure from society makes her question herself. Inside, Ella still knows she doesn't want children, but another fear starts growing. If she ever changes her mind later, time might run out and her body may not support it. This leaves her stuck between her true feelings and the fear of losing the option forever. Later, when Ella and Aiden visit her father, he also brings up the topic of children. He talks about continuing the family line and says that reproduction is part of every living thing, from the first fish that came out of the water to humans today. His words affect Ella deeply. That night, while she and Aiden are intimate, Ella suddenly decides she wants a baby. Aiden senses it might be because of pressure from her father, but Ella says it's not just him. Everyone is pressuring her. This leads to a small argument between them. While working one day, Ella remembers something Dr. Weber told her. If she truly wants a child, a new biotic company is running trials that could help balance her hormones. Even though she's unsure, Ella decides to go. She doesn't tell Aiden the truth, and instead lies that she's leaving for a work project when she's actually going to the clinic. The facility is quiet and beautiful. She's given a room, and then she meets Dr. Elizabeth Simmons, who hands her a long clinical trial consent form. It's full of pages and complicated information, but Dr. Simmons casually jokes about it and tells Ella not to worry. Dr. Simmons tells Ella the trial lasts 10 days and many women have completed it successfully. She repeats that continuing the family line is a natural purpose and says Ella is physically healthy but mentally and chemically out of balance, something treatable. The trial includes medication with synthetic hormones that are meant to increase the desire for motherhood. Ella doubts that such a change can happen so fast, but Dr. Simmons is confident. She also reminds Ella that choosing to come here was already a big step, especially since she left an important work project behind. Her words influence Ella, and she agrees to join the trial. In the cafeteria, she sees other women in the program, but they barely interact. The next day, during Ella's CBT session, she opens up about her fears. Pregnancy can be risky, delivery can be dangerous, and raising a child is not easy. She worries something bad could happen to the mother or the baby. Dr. Simmons says these fears can be treated and begins testing her by showing image cards to understand where her anxieties come from. Ella describes what she sees: a tall woman, some spiders, and a grandfather clock. The doctor notes everything, but says the meaning will be explored in the next session. That night, Ella thinks she sees a spider on her bed, tries to remove it, and then realizes nothing was actually there. In the following CBT session, she explains the images. The grandfather clock is in her father's living room, but she calls it a coffin because it reminds her of their family history. It's an heirloom from after World War II, connected to painful memories. Dr. Simmons suggests she might see it as a coffin because she has no children and feels their family line might end with her. This idea adds pressure to Ella. Ella then explains the dead spiders on the card. For her, they symbolize the painful history her community faced when people were treated like insects and harmed. She says there have been other tragedies in human history too, but this one affects her the most because it happened among civilized societies. This makes her believe that cruelty can appear anywhere, anytime. Because of this fear, she worries about bringing a child into a world that can become dangerous so quickly. Ella still can't explain the tall woman from the image, which makes Dr. Simmons slightly uneasy. Simmons then tells her that on the 10th day, they will place a permanent implant that will work with the pills to balance her hormones. That night, while reading, the ticking wall clock starts disturbing Ella. She removes the battery, but the clock keeps running, which scares her. Feeling trapped, she goes outside and meets another woman whose 10-day trial is almost finished. She's smoking and even offers Ella one, but they barely talk. When the woman leaves, Ella suddenly sees the same tall, frightening woman, which terrifies her. Ella runs back to her room and calls Aiden, but still hides the truth from him. The next day, Dr. Simmons tells her she must enter a sensory deprivation tank. Ella is shown a button for emergencies and lies inside the tank. Soon, intense visuals appear, mostly pregnancy and childbirth images, which overwhelm her. She screams to get out. When the tank door opens, she sees the tall woman right in front of her. Panicking, she runs, slips, hits her head on a table, and faints. Ella regains consciousness with Dr. Simmons, trying to calm her. She's terrified, but the doctor tells her she responded well in the tank. When Ella asks who opened the door, Simmons says it was their nurse and even shows her the footage. But Ella had clearly seen the tall woman instead, which shocks her. Frightened, Ella wants to stop the trial and go home, but Dr. Simmons reminds her she signed the contract by choice, and leaving now means she can't return. With only a few days left and feeling pressured, Ella stays. Still, the strange visions keep troubling her. Soon, her final procedure begins. It's difficult, but the implant is successfully placed. Dr. Simmons gives her medication and instructions, including avoiding intimacy for 3 weeks, and says she will check Ella's progress regularly. Ella thanks her and leaves for home. On the road, Ella sees the same tall woman again, standing ahead of her. Startled, she closes her eyes and tells herself it isn't real. When she opens them, the woman is gone. Then, she suddenly sees the tall woman standing right beside her car, staring at her. Panicking, she speeds up. When she looks back, she realizes it was actually a man with a broken truck asking for help. But her mind showed him as the tall woman. The fear makes her stop near a cliff and vomit. When she gets home, everything feels strange. Colors look dull, her vision seems off, and even her dog barks at her like she's unfamiliar. Feeling hungry, she cracks many eggs into a pan and eats them raw. Later at night, she stops Aiden from getting close, takes her medicine, feels extremely hot, and cools herself in front of the fridge. Seeing more eggs, she again eats them raw, showing the treatment is affecting her. On her birthday, her friends visit. Ella unexpectedly asks Shauna if she can touch her pregnant belly, surprising everyone. But the moment she touches it, she imagines a huge spider on Shauna's stomach. Terrified, she grabs a book to kill it, but there is no spider. Aiden stops her, and no one understands what just happened. Ella goes to buy paint for her project, but becomes frustrated when every color looks wrong, almost as if she has turned colorblind. Confused, she gets a call from Dr. Simmons, who asks about side effects. Ella lies and says she's fine. She then goes to Shauna's house to work on the baby nursery, but throughout the day, she keeps seeing disturbing visions. Even after taking her medicine, she still feels something is terribly off. Later, Ella visits her father. While he shows her old family albums, the sound of the grandfather clock keeps bothering her. He finds a photo of Ella's grandmother taken after the Holocaust, but when Ella looks at it, she sees the tall woman instead. She calls the picture frightening, upsetting her father, who reminds her that their family exists because of this woman and that she can't escape her own bloodline. Her father explained that the picture was taken after the Holocaust, when her grandmother had lost a lot of weight. In anger, he tears the photos. Ella feels guilty and apologizes for upsetting him. Back home, anxiety hits her again. She reaches for her medicine, but realizes she left it at Shauna's house. Worried, she heads to Shauna's place in the middle of the night. Without her medicine, Ella's anxiety gets out of control. At Shauna's house, Shauna is horrified to see the nursery destroyed, the walls covered with creepy drawings and everything broken. Ella admits she's undergoing a treatment to become a mother. Shauna finds this strange, and the stress triggers her labor as her water breaks. Ella's odd behavior scares her, and Shauna throws her out. It's clear the treatment has become a nightmare for Ella, pushing her toward a breakdown. Then, Ella gets a call from her father saying he has fallen. She rushes over, but the sound of the grandfather clock makes her feel worse. Her father apologizes for pressuring her about carrying on the family line, not realizing how deeply she has already pushed herself. Overwhelmed by the clock's ticking, Ella loses control, grabs a hammer, and smashes it, breaking it apart piece by piece. This moment shows her complete mental collapse, whose deeper meaning becomes clear at the film's end. Ella returns home and tells Aiden that her father is angry because she smashed the clock. Aiden comforts her and says he'll visit him later. He washes her injured hands, and in that moment, Ella moves closer to him, saying she wants a baby. This time, Aiden doesn't argue, and they become intimate, but he suddenly gets hurt because the implant inside Ella's body cuts him. Dr. Simmons had warned her to avoid intimacy for 3 weeks. Aiden gets badly injured and asks Ella to bring his medical kit. When she picks up the bag, she notices the infinity logo on it, the same symbol from the clinic. Shocked, Ella asks what's going on. Then everything started to make sense to Ella. He had already met Dr. Simmons before, and he knew exactly what kind of treatment she was offering. He even asked Dr. Weber to guide Ella toward the program, hoping it would change her mind. He wanted a child, but didn't want to pressure her directly, so he thought this treatment might help. He tries to explain that he only wanted to support her, but Ella is deeply hurt by the betrayal. Ella feels completely betrayed, as if Aiden has deceived her. Angry, she goes straight to Dr. Simmons and demands that the implant be removed immediately. Dr. Simmons refuses, saying that removing it will make Ella unable to become a mother. Ella says she doesn't care anymore, but Simmons insists she does care because her treatment never fails. Hearing this, Ella breaks down because deep inside she knows it's true. She has started wanting a baby. But suddenly she realizes something important. This desire isn't truly hers. Society pushed her. And then Dr. Simmons turned her doubts into certainty. In reality, Ella had been happy with her life before all this. Ella screams again for the device to be removed, but Simmons refuses. When Ella threatens to do it herself, Simmons tries to stop her, and in that moment, Ella sees Dr. Simmons transform into the tall woman, the same figure she connected with her grandmother. In panic and anger, Ella grabs a metal tray and hits Dr. Simmons on the head. Then she takes a pair of pliers and starts extracting the implant herself. It's the same type of device we saw on the woman in the film's opening scene. The moment Ella pulls it out, her vision clears. The colors return. The world becomes bright and alive again. This moment shows that when you force yourself to live for others, you lose your real happiness and slowly destroy who you are. After removing the device, Ella is injured and weak, and everyone stares at her in shock. She hears police sirens and runs away. While escaping, Aiden calls. When she stops the car, he tells her he called the police because she hurt her father. This triggers Ella's memory. She didn't break the grandfather clock. She attacked her father during her breakdown. He had told her he only wanted her to be happy, even if she didn't want children. But her mind was collapsing so badly that she imagined destroying the clock while actually hitting him and removing his organs. The film reveals this as a shocking truth she didn't realize until now. Horrified, Ella breaks down. She steps out of her car, and an officer handcuffs her. In sudden panic, Ella pulls away and runs, then jumps off the cliff. In the final scene, Ella is shown lying by the water, perfectly unharmed. It feels like this is the last thought inside her mind before everything ends. She watches a fish slowly crawl toward the shore, and tears fill her eyes. The image represents the very beginning of life on Earth, when living creatures first came out of the water onto land. And with that, the film ends. The movie's deeper meaning is powerful. It shows how damaging it is to force someone into something they don't want. Yes, women can have children, and motherhood can be a blessing. But not everyone wants that life. And choosing not to have a child doesn't make a person less human or incomplete. Ella's story represents many people in today's world who are pressured by society, culture, or family to follow a path that isn't truly theirs. Real happiness comes from living the life you choose, as long as it's right, safe, and legal, not the life others expect from you.